Hi all! This is going to be my press-on 101. So it's a very basic video. I'm just going to go through everything it takes for me to make press-ons. As you can see, hopefully you can see that in the camera, from tips to tip stands, any extra art you need, the absolute essentials that you're going to need to buy, and packaging, application kits, and anything like that. A few little things that I've learned through the time. I am in no means an expert. I just really like making press-ons, and I've learnt this mostly by myself, just bit by bit. So hopefully you'll learn something, and if not, have fun watching me trying to remember where everything is, because I may look organised but I am most definitely not. So I think we'll start off from the beginning with tips and tip stands. Now this can get quite expensive. Most of the time you're going to need 3 or 4 different sizes. I stock almond, stiletto, coffin and square. And this is what I use. I use nail order extension. They're tinted tips. So they're a little bit cheaper than the normal tips, but I find they're a little bit easier to get hold of, so I'm quite happy with them at the moment. Now, as you can see, these are slightly tinted pink. I have this one and I have a lacquer tinted brown. I hate when you can see press-ons where you can see part of the nail and the extra bit. I like it to look more natural. That is solely personal preference though, so you might like it when it looks like that. I just really don't, so I use these, and it just helps that there's an extra layer of colour. Now these come in 0 to 10. Some will have more sizes, some will have less. You're just going to have to learn, and I would recommend sticking with a brand. Every brand is going to have slightly different sizes. They're going to have slightly thinner or thicker cuticle parts, so realistically you want to stick with a brand and learn their press-on tips. Again, you can get them cheaper. I think these may have been about £7 a box. Again, if you go for cheaper, but do try and stick with one brand, it will help in the long run. To measure these, you're just going to get a soft ruler, you know, the sewing rulers and things like that. You're going to get one of them, and you're going to measure the biggest part from sidewall to sidewall, and you're going to get the millimeters. Please measure it in millimeters. The next thing you're going to want is you're going to want different lengths. So make sure you have, I would say my top sellers are probably small and medium, but I do have the long tips in, just not in a lot of styles. So I have a long stiletto, and I think I have a long square, mainly because I can, with the square, I can change them up a little bit if I want to make them coffin or anything like that. It just takes a little bit longer to do. So the next thing you're going to need is you're going to need tip stands. Now I have just gone on Amazon and got a cheap, they're lovely really for the price they are. They're wood. They have all of these with them, and then they came with the little sticky pads. Some do, some don't, so be prepared for maybe using blue tack or other sticky pads. You can get them relatively cheap. I would go for probably Amazon, but look around. I have quite a few of these. Sometimes I make more sets, so I need more, but in general maybe 2 sets of these, so 4 of these wooden blocks in total. Again, you can get really pretty ones, you can get more simple ones, you can get the ones that are fully attached. I like these that you can take off, because if I'm doing really intricate nail art, I like the fact that I can take it off and hold it closer to my face without having to hold this whole bulky wooden thing. So you're going to want some of these, as there's no other real way of painting nails than these. The other essentials that I would suggest is a file, any sort of file. I have Dali files at the moment. Realistically, all you're doing is you're filing off the little tab at the end. Some will have them, some won't, some will be worse, some won't be as bad. I would always keep a file. Buffer block, again, get them cheap. You don't need to do anything special with them. You can either get these bigger ones, you can get little tiny ones, whatever is going to be better for you. Try a few different ones and see. I use these mainly if I need to buff the gel itself so that I can put chrome on or anything like that. They get in a mess, but because I'm not using them for clients, it really doesn't matter. You can use these as much as they're still usable, if you know what I mean. So I have these, and I also have bigger ones, smaller ones of these. Other thing I would suggest, any form of hand brush. Again, I use this one. It's a bit more firmer for just brushing off the dust itself. But I also have this one, which is a really soft brush, and that's for brushing off any extra chrome powder or anything like that. Now, they're your absolute basics that you're going to want. Other essentials, gloves. Please, 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 that is what I want you to buy first of all, is gloves. It's going to save you a lot. You are going to go through a lot, but you're going to find one that you like and that you work with well. Try and get one with a slight grip on the fingers. I'm covered in glitter again. I don't even know how I managed to get covered in glitter all this time, but yeah. Slight grip on the fingers, and some people wear a cotton glove underneath. I don't have them on hand at the moment, but it does help if your hands get too sweaty or anything like that, to put a cotton glove underneath. Right, where's it going? Sizing, right. I'm going to go through a few different ways of sizing, and it's depending on you how you do this. Now, these are my general sizes. So these are the ones I offer the most, and most people will just buy one of these sizes, extra small, small, medium or large, and if needs be, they can always file. If there's one that's slightly bigger, they can always file around the edge and make it a little bit smaller. However, some people will know their exact sizes, so go with that. And some people will know their measurements. Now, the way you measure, now obviously I can't really do it very well on this because I have things on this hand, but you're going to get a piece of paper, you're going to fold it into the side walls on each side, you're going to mark it, and then you're going to measure that. So you'll end up with a little measurement of each nail. Do that for every nail, because sometimes, like, I have a different size thumb on this hand than I do on this hand. So make sure they do it for each nail. Some people will know the measurements, and your best bet is to then go and measure your tips. Again, what they may think is a 1 that they've had in other press-ons, your tips, that may be a 0. So have a look and measure. If they do know their measurements, that is the absolute best way you can do it. But I always offer these because most people will be fine with these general sizes. So it can be a bit annoying. Sizing kits is the other way of doing it. I personally don't do sizing kits, but I might in future if that's something that people want. But at the moment I tend not to. But if you are really concerned and worried, then sizing kits, do that. Right, buffing. Now, I'm talking about that you have a tip and you want to buff the surface. So I'll get one out and I will show you. Now, I do it a slightly different way. I've heard some people like this way and some people don't. So you have the tip, it's shiny, it needs buffing, because if not, the gel is just going to end up coming off. So it needs a bit of buffing. Now, most people will go in with a buffing block and go through all 10. That can get quite tedious and it can hurt your wrist. So I personally use a liquid buffer or a liquid edge. I use the one from Nail Order. I love it. It has a little bit of a smell, but it's really, really good to use. It means there's no dust, there's no anything, and it's a lot easier on your wrist. So if you can, go for a liquid buffer. I just find it so much more easier. And that stays on my desk at all times, because it's something that I had ages ago sometimes forget to do, and I need to realise that that needs to be done every single time. So it's a way of reminding me. Now, gels. I have a bit of an issue where gels are concerned, because I use only really certain brands gels. So I will show you exactly what I use. For colour, I use Nail Order gel. I find they coat really nice, the coverage is gorgeous. I really, really like them. For specialist gels, cat eye, magnetic, I will either go for Nailchemy. They're a little bit cheaper than Nail Order, and they do a lot of the more specialist sort of gels. So, and that's what's on these at the moment. What I've been doing. There should be a short video out with them. Probably already out, but by the time I do this. I also use Lux and DND for certain cat eyes. For detail paints, which you might not be doing a lot of art, but I'll tell you anyway what I use, just so that you can have a look. So here is my extremely messy side table. It needs a good clean up, but I use, for detail paints, I use Hohner. I just find their detail paints are lovely. I do have some Nail Order detail paints that I do use, but I prefer Hohner generally for the detail paints. And these gels down here are sort of extra. So I do have a matte top coat on my desk. I have Nail Order blooming gel. I have a very basic just plain silver cat eye from Savaland. Don't often use that much, but I do like it. I have a glow in the dark. This I've actually only just got, so I don't recommend just yet, because I haven't actually used it, so I can't really tell you how well it works, but we will see. And I have a few other bits that I use on here. This Cinna gel is for my own nails. I do have ones for clients, but that's for my own nails. Again, mainly this is my extra gels. For a thick top coat, I use Jinbei Crazy Top. It's in thick and it is amazing. This is for 3D or for encapsulating anything, but for 3D art, this is just, oh, it's so nice. And for charms, I use Jinbei Ivy Fix Gel. I've never had any issues with it. They've always stayed exactly where I want them, sometimes a little bit too much. But yeah, I do like a little bit more expensive, but it's something to maybe look at some point. So let's go back here. Extra art. This is not something you need to worry about straight away. I will talk a little bit later about style and what you'd want for your extra art, but at the moment in time, I wouldn't worry too much about this one. It's something to have a look around. Sorry, you could probably hear my bird going mad again in the background. Yeah. So, I will show you some of the extra art pieces that I have. I have chromes, again, from Hohner. And this down here has been an absolute godsend. I love it. These are all like, they come apart and they just attach to each other, just sit on each other, and they're really, really nice. A couple of other essentials to really go through down here as well. So, desk mats. My desk does tend to wipe down really well, but I would still suggest having desk mats. These are just dental bibs, so you can use them quite happy. They're waterproof on one side, so they're really nice. My files are in this one. Chromes and pigments are in these 3 at the bottom. Then I have 3D gel. Now, I can't actually remember the name. It's called Crisp Clay. I can't remember the name. I will try and see if I can link it. I love the consistency, however, it is its strength is its weakness. It does not stick to anything. It does stick. It does not stick to the nail. So that's a bit annoying, and I've had a few times when that's been extremely annoying to do. But yeah, it's. I'm still on the lookout for gels for the clays at the moment. Charms, things like that. I do have some. Again, I would go probably cheaper on the charms. Maybe try and get them from different places. It's not something you're going to want to spend a lot of money on straight away. So have a look around and see what you can find really on that one. Right. I'm going to go back over here. Right. The light. I have Nail Orders plugged in lamp. There is a unplugged lamp which I have for clients, but I find just for press-ons it's so much more easy just to have a plugged in lamp. It's just a lot more simpler. I go through a few bits on my desk, and hopefully you can get sort of an idea of a few other bits that you might want to have a look at. So down here, my matte top coat, my normal top coat I use for press-ons, which is a D&D top coat, which is really nice and shiny. My X etch down here, detail paints black, white, mirror silver, mirror gold down there. Obviously my lamp, this is handmade, just gives me a little bit more desk space. I also have my iPad right there, my main lamp, which is the halo lamp, which I absolutely love. Does take up a bit of space though. Now over here I have this here is a Nailchemy Pixie lamp, which is a hands-free lamp, which I do really like. The desk has, I don't know if you can see next to that pink thing here, this desk actually does have plugs and USBs, which is again really nice to have. And then this is my main thing that I want to show you. So you're going to want a few things near your desk straight away. There we go. Right. I have brushes, I have dotting tools, I have acetone. I usually have lint-free wipes, but I've got to fill up the tub. I have my everyday brushes that I go for, and I have a brush cleaner. Brushes. This is only really if you're going to do art, so I'll just go through it very quickly. I would love some expensive brushes, but I wreck brushes so quickly that I'm going for cheaper brushes at the moment. I just worry that if I go for more expensive brushes that I'm gonna wreck them, so cheaper brushes are the way. I have Amazon and I have Melody Susie brushes in here. I also have magnets for any magnetic designs, and I have quite a few of these, which is just what resin ones that I've made that I use to put paints on that I can paint different designs. Yeah, I also usually have some sort of cleaning product quite close by, and that's really mainly the desk and everything you're going to really look for or need on the front. I said, just to reiterate, don't buy lots straight away. Maybe focus more on the packaging initially. So one thing I have brought is these. So it's just a design that I've done, but the clear cases, this is what the nails get shipped out in. Just because I think it's nice that people can have a clear case they can keep them in. Obviously they are supposed to be reusable, so yeah, they're clear cases. They're relatively cheap, but I would recommend getting these. I know some people just use either they put them on pieces of paper, or they put them in little boxes. I personally find these nice. They're also good that I can use these for content creation as well. So just look around and see what you think. Have a look at different people and see how you're going to feel about certain things and what you'd rather. Again, I will come back to style, but a lot of it is your style. There is so many amazing press-on artists out there at the moment that you really have to show your style. So that can be as simple as how you package things. So try and look around and really have a think about how you want your brand to be shown to people. Right, I will stop there for a minute and I will go over and show you the packaging. Okay, forgive the absolute mess that is this side of the room. I focus on the other side and I tend not to do much on this side, so it's in a mess. Right, first of all, boxes, however you're going to package. My colours are pink and black, so I have black boxes and usually pink inserts. These are from Amazon. I would recommend packaging, either finding a small business that does packaging or going for Amazon initially. You're going to get pretty much everything you need from there for packaging ways. So the other things I have is pink packing tape. Everybody talks about the pink packing tape, so I love this pink packing tape. I have so much of it. You watch everything fall now. Pink packing bags. Again, Amazon. Everything of this is from Amazon. They're amazing, and because they're quite big, they work with so many different sizes. Right, I'm gonna try and attempt to show you what's in these drawers with the application kits, but yeah, we will attempt. Right, so I have cupboards, 2 lots of cupboards here, and this one is all my ordering stuff. I have, this is the pink shredded paper that goes in. I have also paper that goes in, this is just tissue paper that goes in to hold everything together. My extra packing tape is in there. My order cards are in there where I put a little thank you, and any other cards get put in there. Then this is quite a major one. It's the application kits. So mine are all deconstructed because I brought them all from different places. This is also another way you can show your individuality with certain things. So I have sparkly bags, because of course you've got to have sparkly bags. I have buffers, glues, small files, small glass, like orange sticks almost. I also put in the sticky tabs. I will put in a horror card, and I will this changes up every so often, but I put in some hand cream. I also have, I don't think it's in this drawer, I also have bracelets, little bracelets that I put in. Again, maybe start basic and build your way up. Everything obviously costs money, so just take your time with building up what you have and what you want. Now, this bottom drawer is stickers. So I have review stickers, I have stickers that go around the box, I have random stickers that I just put in, and that's where my jewellery is down here. They're just little basic bracelets that I put in. So yeah, the other thing, all of this takes space. So please look at what space you have and where you can make as much space as humanly possible. As I said, I have these drawers. Again, excuse the mess. So these are like 5, so there's 10 drawers in total. So that's where I use a lot of things, but it still manages to get everywhere else. So just be aware. You may think, oh, I've got a little bit of space over there, I can put the packing stuff in. It's going to take a bit. it's going to take a bit of a while, so just be aware of that. Right, I'm going to turn you around to the messier side of the, the room, and I'm going to show you 2 electronics that I've brought that are absolutely not something you need to get straight away. Please don't think you're going to have to spend this money straight away. Over here is my Jaden's printer, label printer. So I don't have to go to places and print out labels at shops. You can obviously print out labels at shops, so do not worry about that. This is just a helpful little thing. Over there, that other little pink thing, can you guess my favourite colour? That is a weighing scales for the packaging. That is a very new thing that I've brought just because I was not getting the right weighs a lot of the time for the packaging that I was sending. So yeah, again, don't worry about buying that straight away. That is something you can buy later down the line. Right, so I think I've gone through most of the things. I will just have a quick word about niche and style. As I said, there are some amazing techs out there that do so much different styles. Try and find your style. Mine obviously is a lot of horror themed, it's a lot of black and pink themed. I try and put a lot into my packaging and my designs to try and stand out, but again, at the beginning you really might just be doing some very basic art or some very basic styles, whatever's trending at the time. Don't worry about it. You will find your style. It will just take a little bit of time. And even if you want to just put your style in the packaging, it's something you're going to need to do. Again, it's going to cost a lot of money straight away, but if you're careful and if you build things up slowly, you won't see that such a mass amount of money coming out initially. I said you can start with very, very basic things. Your tips are probably your most important, so look around for them. Anyway, I hope this helps. If you have any questions, please leave them down below. I will answer as many as I possibly can. Again, I am not professional by any means. It's just things that I've learnt through trial and error. So yeah, I'll leave you there, and you've all got this. You will do amazing. Just keep going and we will make some really nice art together. Okay, I'll see you later. Bye.